Picture yourself scrolling through messages from a friend or date, feeling a knot in your stomach at the thought of replying honestly, so you simply leave it unread and move on with your day. This isn't mere rudeness or indifference, it's your mind's strategy to sidestep discomfort and preserve emotional equilibrium in social interactions. To grasp why you choose silence over directness, consider the brain processes that favor avoidance in moments of potential conflict. When you opt to ghost rather than confront, your brain activates avoidance pathways rooted in the amygdala's threat detection, interpreting confrontation as a stressor akin to danger. Cortisol spikes anticipate emotional pain, while the prefrontal cortex weighs the cost of engagement against the ease of withdrawal. Dopamine pathways reward the immediate relief of inaction, reinforcing this pattern over time. This response isn't about cowardice, it's an evolutionary holdover prioritizing short-term peace amid modern relational complexities. It all starts with your reliance on avoidance as a primary coping tool. Avoidance coping mechanism forms the foundation of your tendency to ghost in tense situations. This strategy means deliberately steering clear of stressors, such as opting for silence to dodge difficult talks. Psychologically, your brain resorts to it when threats activate the fight or flight system, yet you choose emotional flight to cut down on instant worry and uphold a sense of inner balance, which feels like a quick escape from building pressure. After several outings with a person in a vibrant area like Los Angeles, you detect differing goals but skip sending a clarifying message, choosing instead to halt responses completely and fill your night with streaming series to push away the discomfort. This coping style often links to a deeper fear of interpersonal conflict. Fear of conflict intensifies your pull toward ghosting as a shield. At its essence, this fear is a strong dread of clashes, pushing you to vanish rather than face disputes or dismissal. Arising from prior incidents or ingrained habits, your psyche ties directness to exposure, ramping up stress chemicals that heighten imagined dangers beyond any gains from clarity, leaving you with a lingering tension masked by temporary quiet. It surfaces in your daily patterns via picky exchanges, as you favor peace through retreat, potentially weakening ties while granting brief serenity. At your workplace in Denver, a coworker keeps claiming your concepts without acknowledgement, but you sidestep confrontation by disregarding their messages and focusing on independent work to dodge the uneasy dialogue. Beyond fear, this behavior ties into moments of emotional overwhelm that cloud your judgment. Emotional overwhelm captures the surge that leads you to ghost amid rising feelings. This state happens when emotions build past your handling point, urging a retreat like silence to bypass sorting through tangled sentiments. On a neural level, your limbic area surges with alerts and social strain, swamping logical thinking and leaning toward closure to halt worsening or collapse, which registers as a heavy fog needing space to clear. In regular moments, it presents as sudden quiet in talks or bonds, giving you room to steady yourself during packed days. Amid a family event in a Midwestern spot like Minneapolis, a kin probes your job path, sparking irritation, so you depart prematurely and ignore later messages, selecting a peaceful ride back to unwind. This overwhelm frequently connects to gaps in emotional intelligence that hinder direct expression. Low emotional intelligence highlights barriers in your emotional handling that favor ghosting. This trait involves difficulties spotting and directing feelings, causing you to withdraw instead of voicing them clearly. Mentally, limited insight into yourself and others renders facing issues daunting, with your brain fumbling through social subtleties lacking solid methods, evoking a sense of being stuck without words. It molds your engagements by choosing pullback over discussion, easing short-term meetings yet muddling enduring links. Within a relaxed friend network in Miami, a pal voices views opposing yours in a shared conversation, but struggling to identify or express your unease. You silence the discussion and halt involvement sans notice. Such intelligence gaps often align with avoidant attachment styles shaped by early experiences. Avoidant attachment style defines your relational approach that employs ghosting for space. This pattern emphasizes self-sufficiency, where you use disappearance to keep boundaries and elude closeness requirements. Based in attachment concepts, your mind develops it from uneven early care, conditioning you to see nearness as an independence risk, sparking pull-away tactics that feel essential for freedom. In routine existence, it arises as a lean toward shallow connections, pulling you back as relationships intensify, safeguarding your solo nature against group demands. Following weeks of online chats with a possible match from your place in Boston, matters grow earnest, but sensing intrusion, you cut off all contact abruptly, reverting to personal pursuits like books to restore your solitude. This attachment dynamic contributes to efforts in reducing cognitive dissonance around your actions. Cognitive dissonance reduction addresses how you lessen inner clashes tied to ghosting. It entails easing friction from conflicting ideas and actions, such as defending silence to match your self-perception. In your psyche, harmony drives this. When facing off tests your image as compassionate or skilled, evasion eases the strain by recasting quiet as compassionate, diminishing remorse in the process. It unfolds in your practices through excusing retreat, which lightens fault yet sustains loops of unfinished matters in private and job realms. In a community service team in Phoenix, you oppose the head's path but opt out of raising issues in sessions, gradually skipping events and overlooking summons, convincing yourself it spares all from unrest. Your ghosting stems from avoidance coping, fear of conflict, and emotional overwhelm for immediate relief. It involves low emotional intelligence and avoidant attachment, shaping relational patterns. Cognitive dissonance reduction justifies the behavior, maintaining internal consistency. What appears as evasion in your communication is truly your brain's adaptive response to safeguard emotional resources in a demanding social landscape. If these patterns sound familiar in your interactions, drop a comment below or subscribe for deeper dives into human behavior. Thanks for joining this reflection. See you in the next one.